Hey there everyone, how are you doing? Joe Marin here for MobileCupOfJoe.com, ready to bring you another product review. This episode though we'll be reviewing the Nokia Lumia 810. The Nokia Lumia 810 is an exclusive to T-Mobile and is actually one of the only two Windows Phone 8 devices you can currently pick up with T-Mobile's service. Nokia Lumia 810 is packing in dual-core processors, an 800 by 480 WVGA OLED display, 8 megapixel camera, Windows Phone 8, and more, and is currently selling for $149 with a 2-year contract after a $50 mail-in rebate. So is the Lumia 810 a good smartphone decision if you're in the market for a new Windows Phone 8 device? We're going to find out right now in our full review. But before we go any further, please go ahead and grab that coffee cup, fill it up, bring it over, and sit on down. Take a swig for a Mobile Cup of Joe. Alright, before we get too far into this review, I'd like to give a huge thank you to our friends over at Nokia for hooking us up with the Lumia 810 and other Nokia products. It's because of companies like Nokia that make Mobile Cup of Joe possible by sending us their products to unbox and review for you guys, our fans. So a huge thank you to Nokia and the other companies that support Mobile Cup of Joe by sending us their products. If you're in the market for a new Windows Phone 8 device, make sure that you check one out from Nokia, because they are the largest manufacturer of Windows Phone 8 devices and make some pretty darn impressive ones as well. Now, to start this review off, we're going to talk about some quick little design and build quality aspects of the Lumia 810. Now that I know there are a few of you out there that really love the exact dimensions of these products, so that's going to be the first thing we talk about. The Nokia Lumia 810 is 127.8 millimeters tall, 68.4 millimeters wide, 10.9 millimeters thick, and it weighs in at 145 grams. Now for the rest of us, what that translates to is that this is a very heavy and thick device. It got a good amount of weight to 145 grams is definitely a pretty hefty device. It's actually a little bit lighter than the Lumia 820 that we reviewed, linked in the description below for that, but the Lumia 820 had more rounded edges. This one just has kind of a blocky and bricky design, doesn't feel very comfortable when you're holding it. Now, we're going to take a quick tour around the phone, see what it's got on it. In front of the device, you see we have our 4.3-inch WVGA 800 by 480 OLED display. Below that, you've got your standard Windows Phone 8 capacitive touch buttons. You've got a back button, a home button, and a search button. Top of the phone, you've got a T-Mobile logo, a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, and your Nokia logo right there with your little speaker there as well. Bottom of the phone, you've got your standard micro USB syncing/charging port with your 2 speakers right there. Top of the phone is your microphone pinhole. Next to that is your 3.5mm headphone jack. Like all of Nokia's Lumia phones, on the right of the phone, we have got our volume rocker. Below that, our power/lock button. And below that as well, our physical dedicated camera launcher button. While I love having this dedicated camera launcher button on here, it does take a little bit of pressure on the Lumia 810 anyways to actually activate it. You can push it, and you can keep pushing it. You can hear we're clicking it. We actually have to apply a good deal of pressure to launch, make it to function correctly. So you can try to hear me clicking it, try to take a picture. You gotta apply some force to it to really get it to work. When you're applying force while you're taking a picture, that's going to cause it to be a little laggy and unstable and out of focused. So keep that in mind. That's kind of a big gripe I've got with the design of it. And going to the back of the phone, we've got our 8 megapixel camera with LED flash and a Carl Zeiss lens. And one thing I have an issue though with this phone as well is this back material. The Lumia 820 featured a back very similar to this. I believe it's the same material used on the 820, but it makes it very slippery. You can slide this device in and out of your hands with ease. There's no grip to it at all, and so don't be surprised if it does cause you to drop your phone. Now, a cool thing about the Lumia 810 is that you can remove this back and add a wireless charging back to it. We don't have this one. This review unit came with just a standard black one. But if you want to, you can get a wireless charging back and just plop it down to your preferred wireless charging station and you are set to go. So overall, the design of the Lumia 810 is alright. You can tell and see right there, that's actually pretty ugly. It's very uninspired. It just looks like a big black brick. Oh, it is very sturdy though, even though it is extremely ugly. It does feel sturdy. Doesn't feel like a cheaply made device. Feels Not that great in the hand, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break and shatter into a million pieces if you drop it. So kudos for the build quality being pretty good, but it's a very, very poor design. So moving on now to some hardware specifications. Under the hood of the Lumia 810, you've got a 1.5 GHz dual-core processor. It's a Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 to be exact, and you have a 1 GB of RAM as well. Sliding through home screens and all your live tiles is very smooth. Launching applications is fairly fast as well. We'll launch our Xbox Live one just to show you. See, it pops up right there. You can scroll through everything. It runs pretty fast. You can go to new one like calculator just for example, and it brings it up right there. Everything seems to run really smooth and really great. There aren't a lot of graphically intense games for us to run and test out the graphics performance, just due to Microsoft's Windows Store having a lack of graphically intensive games, but from everything we threw at the Lumia 810, it was able to keep up with us just fine, and should be more than enough to power you through for your day-to-day tasks. Now, on the front of the device, you see we have our 4.3-inch screen with a resolution of 800 by 480 WVGA OLED display. The colors looked nice and vibrant. They were nicely saturated. They were bright and pretty accurate. One thing, though, if you get up too close, you can see that the text is a little pixelated, especially if you use smartphones with a HD display, 720p or 1080p. You are going to notice a lack in screen resolution and quality in the Lumia 810. For an example, we'll show you the lock screen picture. So you see from a distance that it looks really great. Nice, pretty beach right there. Unfortunately, it's 10 degrees here in Lawrence, Michigan, so we're not seeing anything like that, but it does look pretty good. You get up too close, though, and you do see that it's kind of blurry and doesn't look extremely great. If you're a tech junkie like me, you're going to notice this, but if you're just an average smartphone user, you should be really impressed with the screen resolution. But like I said, if you use higher end resolutions on smartphones, you will see a lack in resolution on the 810. Now, this thing is equipped with 8 GB of internal memory. You get 7 GB of free Microsoft SkyDrive memory, and this is also one of the first Windows Phone 8 devices to include an option to expand it via microSD card slot. And we'll show you that if I can get the back off of it really quick. I was doing this like a pro earlier, but you watching during the video, I won't be able to get it off. There we go. Get it off of there real quick. This sucker is like impossible to take off. Oh, I want to mention though, you can see that this back really adds a lot of thickness to it. Not nearly as thick without it. But if we turn it over, you can see right there that there's our port where we can add a micro SD card slot. Like I said, one of the first Windows Phone 8 devices we've ever seen to include this option. So having the option to expand it with that, 8 gigs of internal storage and 7 gigs of free SkyDrive storage, you should have plenty of room to store all your pictures, videos, and applications. Now, this thing also has, while we're under the hood anyways, might as well talk about this, an 1800 milliamp hour battery. Not going to take the back off right now, but you can remove the battery. It is a removable one, so if you need to add another one to get some more juice out of it, you can do that. It's really great to see smartphones still allow you to do that. We got about 10 hours of usage out of it with moderate web browsing, light application use, calling and texting, and a little bit of video streaming. Keep in mind, though, that this is with a 2G network speeds, which we'll get into just a second. Well, if you live in an area with T-Mobile's 4G speeds, you may see a little decrease in battery performance. But like I said, you've got around 10 hours of use, and I was pretty impressed, actually, with the battery on the Lumia 810. Now, that does segue us into one of my biggest hardware issues with the Nokia Lumia 810, and that's the fact that it has T-Mobile service. In my area, Lawrence, Michigan, it is a rural area, so we're not going to get the best service here, but if we slide down from the top, you can see we're getting 2G. Now, the Lumia 810 can access T-Mobile's 4G network. It is LTE capable, hackers have found out, but you obviously cannot access that because T-Mobile does not have their LTE network set up and running just quite yet. With AT&T, though, I'm able to get 4G speeds here in Lawrence, Michigan, and with Verizon Wireless in Paw Paw, Michigan, I'm able to get around 15 megabits per second download and 10 megabits per second upload speeds with Verizon's 4G LTE network in Paw Paw, Michigan. Lumia 810 on T-Mobile in Paw Paw, Michigan, where I can get LTE with Verizon, I can still only get 2G service. That's really a big downer for this device. Definitely check in your area to see how T-Mobile's data coverage is, because I was really disappointed. T-Mobile has one of the worst data connections I've ever found on a wireless carrier. Sprint's really not great in my area as well, but we can still get 3G with them at least. So definitely make sure you check to see how your data coverage is with T-Mobile. With that said, though, the call quality on this was actually really great. As you can see, we're getting, 3 bars right there? Well, that's not the best. Lawrence, Michigan is a very, very rural area. We have 1 traffic light, so 3 bars is pretty good. Call quality on here was excellent. Really, everyone I talked to said that they could hear me just fine. It sounded like I was standing right next to them. And people on my end sounded great as well. They were very clear, very crisp, and I didn't have any issues with them whatsoever. A cool thing that Nokia implements into their new Lumia phones is this high sensitivity display. So with normal smartphones, you know that you have to have your finger touching the screen to make it activate and work, because the capacitive touchscreen uses the heat from your finger to operate. With Nokia's new high sensitivity screens, though, you can use a clothed hand and still operate it just fine. If you don't want this high sensitivity, you can choose to disable it in the menus, but having that added high sensitivity should be really great, especially living in an area with freaking 13-degree Fahrenheit weather. If you're wearing gloves, you should still be able to operate your smartphone, which is a huge plus. Another cool thing with the screen is that it has Nokia's clear black display, which cuts down a lot on the glare and gives you a lot of really great viewing angles. So if you're in direct sunlight or direct light at all, you should be able to see this just fine. You can see there that the viewing angles are pretty impressive. So we also have a 1.3 megapixel camera on the front right there, if you can see it, and an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash and a Carl Zeiss lens on the back. Show you some quick photo shots that I took with it in our camera roll. If you want to see them more accurately, go over to our mobilecupofjoe.com for our full written review of the Lumia 810. I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. So this is a phone we took with the rear-facing camera. I was actually pretty impressed with the quality. You can see that it's nicely accurate color-wise, and that the colors are there, and it's actually really, really crisp. Apple joke, anyone? Crisp Apple, crisp photo? No, that was a terrible, terrible joke. But it does look really great. May look a little better on the website just because the screen resolution is not an HD display. That's the rear-facing though, and let's go on to our front-facing camera test photo. You can see that, there's gorgeous little me. Everything looks really great. There's a lot of good lighting when we took this picture, and it really shows. This capture the colors actually a lot more accurately than I've ever seen on a front-facing camera. So kudos for Nokia for having such a good front-facing camera. Front-facing cameras on smartphones seem to be usually a weak point. They're never that high of quality, but it was nice to see one that performed above average on the Lumia 810. So now we're going to move into some software specifications. Here obviously you got Windows Phone 8 on the Lumia 810. Slide through everything is very smooth. You can go to your applications by sliding to the right. One of the biggest selling points of Windows Phone 8 is live tiles that bring you live and relevant information. You also hold down a tile and you can resize it to be smaller or larger and display as much or as little information as you want. Really cool feature. I love having my tiles constantly updating with information that's relevant to what my interests and my location, and it's really, really cool. Now, one thing in here that I did not touch on my review of the Lumia 820, but I want to get into on the Lumia 810 is Kids Corner. So if you are a parent and you have a smartphone, chances are that your little kiddo is constantly wanting to use mommy or daddy's smartphone to play their games. While you want to make your little ones happy as you can, you really don't want them sending your boss an email by accident or uploading and updating your Facebook status with pictures that you don't want them to upload onto the internet. Microsoft has thought of this though, and that's why they've included Kids Corner. So you can turn on Kids Corner from the settings menu, and it allows you to choose what your child has access to. So you can see that for the games we selected Xbox Smart Glass, and for apps, let's select alarms. We have the calculator selected, camera, Evernote, and we got Netflix selected, and we'll add Wikipedia and Weather Channel because those aren't harmful to the kiddos. So you can choose what apps and games and music and videos, if you have them on your phone, that are available to your kids. You can either launch Kids Corner from the settings menu, or next time you power on your phone, This is your main menu where you can slide up and access the normal setup you have, or slide over to the right and you can slide up to reveal Kids Corner. So from here, they cannot slide over to the right to access all your apps. What you give them access to is everything that they can use. So if you don't put the camera on here, they will not be able to access the camera. If you don't put the internet browser on here, they won't be able to access the internet as well. It's really cool. It allows for a safe user experience for your kids, so they can still have fun and play games on mommy or daddy's smartphone, but they won't access things they shouldn't. Kids Corner 2 also makes it easy for the kids to customize their phone. They can choose a picture for the lock screen to really represent them. It add a personal flair and personal touch to it. So you get a good choice of photos here, and you can choose that. Voice cracks are included with Kids Corners, and you can change it to a light screen, and you can change the color. Let's go to a yellow. And you can really customize it and make it yours. They still have the option to resize tiles, so you can really make this look like a setup on mommy or daddy's smartphone, but it looks like it's just made for them. So next time you power your device on, you can still access your normal one and not have any of the settings changed or altered, and you can access Kids Corner again by sliding over to the right, sliding up, and there's your kids setup. This is an awesome feature, especially useful for parents if you've got kids. It lets your kid have fun on your smartphone, but keeps them safe at the same time. Now, the Lumia 810 for browsing experiences, like on all Windows Phone 8 devices, is Internet Explorer 10. While I'm not the biggest fan of IE10, it actually runs pretty great on the Lumia 810. So let's go to lookupajoe.com real quick, just to show you how it performs. We'll launch it. And we do have Wi-Fi on, by the way. Oh, but it runs pretty good. It's typed it in wrong again. That darn keyboard right there. Joe. See how fast it launches. Like I said, this is Wi-Fi. This is not T-Mobile speeds because it would take forever to launch it on 2G speeds. But you can see it loaded up pretty good there. You can slide through all of our news posts and see what we've been talking about. A little written review of the Nokia Lumia 810 there for you to check out for a little bit more detailed information. Cool with IE10, you can just slide up from the bottom. You can access recent websites, your favorites. You can add a website to your home screen. You can pin it actually. Pin it to start. And you can go to the bottom and you can see we have a little live tile for the lookupajoe.com website. And then you can just tap on that and you can launch it right there. And also cool with IE10, just slide up and you can add a new tab, and you can close tabs you have up or add a new one. Really nice, very elegant user interface. Like I said, not the biggest fan of Internet Explorer, but it looks and works really great on the Windows Phone 8 platform. Now with the Nokia Lumia 810 and all of other Nokia's latest Lumia phones like the 820, the 810, the 822, and the 920, you got these great Nokia added value applications such as Nokia City Lens, Nokia Maps, Nokia Music, and Nokia Transit. Nokia City Lens displays relevant information to you, places of interest, hotels, restaurants, things like that, through a cool augmented reality camera lens. Nokia Maps is a mapping service. Nokia Music is a music streaming service where you can add up to 3 artists and it can play a mixed radio of music from them or similar to them, and you can actually save those mixed stations and listen to them offline. And Nokia Transit displays public transit routes in your area. These are great added applications Nokia adds and really differentiates the 810 and all other Nokia Lumia phones from like the HTC 8X, Samsung Active S, different phones like that. So with all that said, I'm going to be giving the Nokia Lumia 810 on T-Mobile a 7 out of 10. While I did have a lot of good things to say about it, such as the fast processor, all the great cameras, Nokia's value-added applications, the excellent call quality, things like that, it really does come down to me to a matter of price. I try not to review a product too much solely based on the price, but the Nokia Lumia 810 selling for $149 with a 2-year contract on T-Mobile after that $50 mail-in rebate is not a bad deal, but when you consider that you can currently get the Nokia Lumia 920, which is Nokia's latest flagship device, for $50 less at $99 with a 2-year contract on AT&T, it really seems like a no-brainer to me. Why would you spend $50 more for what Nokia and T-Mobile are calling a mid-range Nokia product, when you can get the Nokia Lumia 920, which has a better, longer battery life, a higher resolution screen, a larger screen at 4.5 inches, higher resolution cameras and everything for less money. It's just a matter of pricing and bad pricing, really. If this only costs about $50, this would easily get an 8 or a 9 probably an 8 because it is a great product, but being more expensive than a higher quality phone from the same manufacturer is just a really inconvenient thing, and it makes it hard to recommend this product. But its processing speeds, its cameras, and everything is why it's getting that score of 7 out of 10. So what do you think of the Nokia Lumia 810? Do you disagree with my opinion? Do you agree with me by some chance? Do you have one? If you do, let me know what you think of it in the comments below, or make a video response if you'd really like to. Again, big thank you to Nokia for hooking us up with this device. And if you liked the video, please go ahead, hit the like button. If you liked it, it takes 1 second to do so. It really helps support the show. If you want to show your support towards the show even more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the top of your screen for more Mobile Cup of Joe videos. And you guys all know we are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget to check out our website at www.mobilecupofjoe.com for your latest in mobile tech news outside our videos. I'm Joe Marion from mobilecupofjoe.com. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.